It was a crisp afternoon in downtown Meadowridge, a quaint city known for its cobblestone streets and picturesque parks. Olivia Bennett, a poised woman in her mid-30s, had just stepped out of a local artisan bakery, her favorite spot for an afternoon coffee break. She was the wife of Meadowridge's chief of police, Lucas Bennett, though she rarely mentioned it. Olivia believed in being treated like everyone else, without the shadow of her husband's title hanging over her. As she strolled toward her parked car, two uniformed police officers, Officer Reed and Officer Carter, stepped into her path. Their demeanor was sharp, their eyes scanning her as though she were a suspect. "Excuse me, ma'am," Officer Reed said, his tone clipped. "We need to ask you a few questions." Olivia paused, confused but polite. "Is something the matter, officers?" she asked. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in this area." Officer Carter interjected. "We need to search you." Olivia was taken aback. "Suspicious activity? I just left the bakery. What exactly are you looking for?" Reed crossed his arms, his gaze unyielding. "Are you refusing to comply?" "No," Olivia replied, her voice steady despite her growing unease. "But is there a reason to suspect I've done anything wrong?" Without another word, Officer Carter reached for handcuffs. "Turn around," he ordered brusquely. Olivia's heart raced, but she complied, knowing resistance could escalate the situation. The cold metal cuffs snapped around her wrists, drawing the attention of passers-by. Her cheeks flushed with humiliation as the officers searched her belongings. "May I call my husband?" Olivia asked, her voice firm but laced with frustration. Reed chuckled. "Sure, go ahead. Let's see who he is." Olivia dialed quickly. The phone barely rang twice before a commanding voice answered. "Olivia, what's wrong?" "They're searching me," she said, glancing at the officers, who now seemed less sure of themselves. "Officers Reed and Carter, they claim I'm suspicious." "Where are you?" Lucas Bennett asked, his voice calm but with an unmistakable edge. "By the bakery on Elm and Grove." "I'll be there in 5 minutes," Lucas said before hanging up. Within moments, a black SUV pulled up, and Lucas Bennett stepped out, his badge gleaming in the afternoon sun. The officers froze, recognizing him immediately. "Commissioner Bennett," Reed stammered, stepping back. "Explain yourselves," Lucas demanded, his tone icy. Reed and Carter exchanged nervous glances. "We had reports of suspicious activity," Carter mumbled. "And she matched the description?" Lucas's voice grew colder. "What was the description? Did she resist? Did she threaten you?" "No, sir," Carter admitted, his voice barely audible. Lucas turned to the gathering crowd. "This is what happens when assumptions replace professionalism," he declared. "These officers will face the consequences." He pulled out his phone and called internal affairs on the spot, ensuring their suspension was immediate. Olivia stood by his side, a mix of relief and lingering hurt on her face. Lucas placed a protective arm around her. "I'm sorry you had to go through this," he said softly. As the officers were led away, the crowd began to clap, their whispers carrying a clear message. Justice had been served. Olivia glanced at her husband, her gratitude evident. "Thank you for standing up for me," she said quietly. "Always," Lucas replied.